Picture this. You're sitting in a big work meeting, ready to take notes, when suddenly, your entire page fades into nothing but blank paper. No words, no notes, just emptiness staring back at you while your boss talks about deadlines. That's exactly what happened to my coworker after he couldn't stop stealing from my desk. What started as a small annoyance turned into one of the most hilarious moments of revenge I've ever pulled off. If you've ever had something stolen at work, or wished you could get back at someone without saying a word, smash that like button right now. Subscribe if you love real-life revenge stories, because today's tale is about how one petty office thief learned the hard way that stealing doesn't always. For as long as I can remember, I've been the kind of person who keeps their workspace tidy. My desk wasn't fancy, just a simple cubicle with a laptop, a notepad, and a few pens neatly lined up. I liked having things in order. It made me feel prepared, calm, ready for the day. But slowly, something started gnawing at me, a small, irritating problem that grew bigger each week. My pens kept disappearing. At first, I thought I was being careless. Maybe I left them in a meeting room, or one rolled off the desk. But then I realized it was happening too often. I'd buy a fresh pack of pens on Monday, and by Friday, half of them were gone. And it wasn't just any pens, they were my favorite kind. Smooth gel ink, perfect grip, the kind that made writing feel effortless. And somehow, they kept vanishing. First suspicion. One morning I noticed something strange. A coworker of mine, we'll call him Brian, was scribbling away during a meeting. Nothing unusual, except for one thing. The pen in his hand looked awfully familiar. The exact same brand, the same style, even the same color I had just bought. My stomach tightened. Was I imagining it? Maybe he just liked the same pens I did. But over the next week, the pattern kept repeating. Every time my pens disappeared, Brian suddenly had a new one in his hand. It wasn't proof, but deep down I knew. Brian was the thief. The emotional toll. Now some people might laugh it off. It's just a pen. Who cares? But here's the thing. It wasn't just about the pens. It was about the disrespect. The sneaky way he'd just help himself to my things without asking. Every missing pen was like a little reminder that I was being taken advantage of. I'd sit at my desk, open my drawer, and feel that flash of irritation when another pen was gone. My jaw would tighten. My chest would burn with quiet frustration. And worst of all, I didn't feel like I could say anything without looking petty. After weeks of this nonsense, I decided enough was enough. I wasn't going to confront him. I wasn't going to beg for respect. No, I was going to make sure he never touched my pens again. That's when the idea hit me. I was shopping one weekend when I spotted something in the novelty aisle. Disappearing ink pens. At first, I chuckled. They looked like silly gag gifts. But then a wicked thought sparked in my brain. What if I bought a pack and carefully placed them on my desk, right where Brian usually borrowed from? I could already picture the look on his face when his notes started vanishing. The anticipation alone made me grin. The setup. The following Monday, I swapped out my usual pens with the disappearing ink ones. I left them right in their usual spot, nice and tempting. And then, I waited. By mid-morning, it happened. I watched from the corner of my eye as Brian casually strolled over, scanned my desk, and without hesitation, plucked one of the pens. He didn't even glance at me, just pocketed it like it was his. My heart pounded. The trap was set. The moment of revenge. Later that day, we had a department-wide meeting. Everyone filed in with their laptops and notebooks. Brian sat a few seats down from me, pen in hand, ready to take notes. At first, everything seemed normal. He was writing fast, his page filling up with neat lines of text. But about halfway through, I noticed him squinting at his paper. His pen hovered midair. He blinked, leaned closer, rubbed at the page with his hand. The words were fading. Line by line, his notes dissolved into nothing but faint smudges. His brow furrowed, his lips parted in confusion. He flipped the pen in his hand, scribbled furiously in the corner, only to watch those marks fade too. The panic on his face was priceless. Meanwhile, everyone else kept writing like nothing was wrong. I had to bite the inside of my cheek to keep from laughing out loud. My shoulders shook with the effort. Inside, though, I was dying of laughter. The humiliation. Brian's eyes darted around the room. He shifted in his seat, clearly embarrassed. He even tried borrowing a pen from someone else, pretending his had just run out of ink. But by then, his notes were already gone. He sat there, staring at his blank page, helpless. And me? I